Thank you, Chairman Upton and members of the subcommittee. My name is John Walke, and I am Clean Air Director and Senior Attorney for the Natural Resources Defense Council, a national public health and conservation organization with 1.2 million members and online activists nationwide. Power plants, industrial boilers, and cement plants are the largest emitters of mercury and scores of other toxic air pollution in the country today. Mercury is a powerful brain poison that damages the developing brains of children and fetuses, lowering IQs and harming motor functions. These polluting facilities emit many other toxic air pollutants as well that cause cancer, heart attacks, strokes, asthma symptoms, and premature deaths. Yet these industrial facilities still are failing to comply with basic Clean Air Act requirements to reduce their toxic pollution over 2 decades after passage of the 1990 Clean Air Act amendments. This inexcusable situation is due to unlawful delays, along with plainly illegal standards by EPA under the prior administration, standards that were overturned in court by unanimous decisions rendered by judges appointed by Republican and Democratic presidents alike. These delays in court decisions resulted in EPA under the present administration inheriting the obligation to repropose and reissue standards that comply with the Clean Air Act and protect the public. Now that EPA has final and proposed mercury and air toxic standards for the 3 industrial sectors at issue today, these standards will deliver enormous benefits in health to the American people. Yet today's hearing is serving as a platform for industry officials to urge the delay of these life-saving mercury and air toxic standards. Members of this committee in recent days have acknowledged they are crafting plans to delay these generationally important health safeguards. If there is one thing for you to remember from my testimony today, it is this: delay would mean more deaths and disease on a truly staggering scale. If these health protections were to be delayed by even a single year, such delay would result in up to 26,000 premature deaths, 16,500 non-fatal heart attacks, 178,000 asthma attacks, 18,000 hospital admissions and ER visits, 1.3 million days when people would miss work or school, and nearly 8 million days when people would restrict their activities. If delay is pursued, I am unaware of any other proposal or legislation to have been entertained in Congress that would inflict this level of harm upon the American people's health in a single year. I respectfully appeal to the members of this committee to be straight with the American people about the deadly consequences of delay. The American people deserve to have these choices put in sharp relief: the choice between enforcing the law and securing these tremendous health benefits every year, or blocking law enforcement and sacrificing public health. Americans have a right to understand how many people will be allowed to die due to the weakening or delay of these health safeguards. How many more pregnant women and children will be poisoned by mercury in their bodies if Congress delays or weakens health safeguards covering these industries? How many additional hundreds of thousands of cases of asthma attacks, heart attacks, and trips to the ER would be permitted to occur? Before Congress even considers setting the country on this course, I urge you to convene legislative hearings not with lawyers, lobbyists, and corporate executives, but with doctors, nurses, and respiratory therapists. Please invite a panel with a pregnant mother-to-be, a religious leader, and a specialist in neurotoxins to discuss the impacts of delayed cleanup on the most vulnerable in our care, the more than 300,000 newborns each year in the U.S. that may have been overexposed to mercury in utero, increasing their risk of neurodevelopmental effects. These EPA rulemakings have been conducted pursuant to clear statutory authorities and court orders following court decisions that vacated and remanded earlier unlawful standards issued by the prior administration for these industries. Indeed, for critics that complain about the concentration of several standards by the current administration during its first 2 years, there's a very simple explanation. EPA under the prior administration violated the Clean Air Act repeatedly over 2 terms. Courts sent those standards back to EPA for correction. The prior administration left office without fixing those standards. And now the current administration must fix the standards to follow the law. We Americans deserve to have our government follow the law, to enforce the law. Americans have the right to clean air, a right conferred in the Clean Air Act of 1990 by a Republican president, 89 senators, and 400 members of this House. Congress should not take away our right to clean air. In conclusion, there can be no claim that EPA lacks statutory authority to protect Americans against poison and cancer-causing chemicals. There can be no complaint that EPA is acting too quickly after well over a decade of delay fueled by special interest and lawbreaking. There should be no willingness to entertain delays of health protections that will avoid up to 26,000 deaths, nearly 180,000 asthma attacks, and mercury poisoning of society's most vulnerable. I respectfully ask you to let the clean air work to protect the health of all Americans. Thank you.
Thank you.